So as everybody knows, preseason is started. We are well in the way in getting this NBA season on and popping. Number 75 at that. You think they're gonna drop the next 50 players on the list for that?
Oh no, 25.
25, you're right.
Some people
25.
have already been doing it. I was looking at CBS's top 75 players. They did a couple different panelists. I don't know if they're gonna like tally it all up and then pick the players from there,
Right.
but it was definitely a couple interesting names on that 75 list. A lot of current players. I was surprised to see how many people had Steph and KD in the top 15. I think that was what's up.
Definitely what's up.
Shout out to Dominique Wilkins for making the list because he didn't make the top 50 of all time. So he should have made the 50. But they've had him on 75. But I think they should do an official, but they'll probably wait till we get to 100 years for that.
You know, like I said, and coming into the season, like I said, it has been some weird names. I know Mark Jackson kind of threw Luka name in there, but it wasn't really based off accolades or what he's accomplished already, just off pure skill and talent alone. He said there's not 75 players better than him. You kind of agree with that, put some of those younger players on there who might not have the long list of accomplishments, kind of like Shaq, but, you know, as we were saying yesterday, Shaq went to the finals in his first 3 years. Do you have a problem with putting those younger players on there?
I don't mind acknowledging them, but a part of the greatness of the league isn't just the talent, it's also what you were able to do. And that's why Shaq was able to get on, because he went to the finals. They didn't win it, but they went to the finals. So that's way different. Luka hasn't even made it out the first round yet. But I get what he's saying as far as he's one of the 75 most talented players ever. I get that, but he wouldn't be on my list. Not yet.
Not yet. But I can see players like Trey, him, you know, getting those consideration for what they've done with their talent already. But coming into this year, what you most excited about this year?
First 82 game season in
2-3 years.
Yeah, 2 years. I was just looking at the on Twitter. They posted the picture of Jimmy Butler from Game 5. It was a year ago today, and that was 2 seasons ago. So, first 82 game season. So interesting to see how it plays out. This off season was just as short, if not shorter than last off season. So I wonder if that's going to be a talking point throughout the season, with the injuries and stuff like that. But really, just ready to get back into some basketball. I like these short off seasons because it's like basketball has been nonstop. So they need to bring back those Nike basketball never stops commercials.
No, that would be a good idea. And there's been some player movement. I think this year a lot of teams have kind of figured out a way to not go with a salary cap while accommodating their star players. We've seen it with Chicago with Zach LaVine and bringing in DeMar DeRozan and Alonzo Ball. Memphis, you know, not necessarily going away from a low post presence, but kind of going for a different low post presence, bringing in Steven Adams. So Jonas Valanciunas go down to New Orleans. How you think that flip flop gonna work real quick?
I think it works for Memphis. I don't think it works for New Orleans. This is year 3 of New Orleans trying to play with a real center with Zion. And Valanciunas is probably the most talented offensive wise. So compared to the past two, Steven Adams and Derek Favors, shout out Sticks from South Atlanta.
For sure.
They don't even want the ball. Valanciunas kind of wants, you know, he like that 17, 18 points per game. So it should work for New Orleans because he's a piece that they can need. And Valanciunas is a top 10 center. I think Steven Adams is a perfect pick and roll partner with Josh. So he's going to fit in well there and bring some stability if Jaren Jackson has to miss some time. But New Orleans is the one that, you know, got to wait and see what Willie Green does there. Shout out to Willie Green, first time head coach this year. But it'll be interesting to see how that works. But like you said, a lot of teams have tried to stick on the salary cap. We've seen over the last few years, teams have made a lot of use of signing trades. Like it's always been around, but it's been real heavy the last few seasons because that way you can sign a player and you can kind of fit them all the way in and it doesn't kill you salary cap wise. I don't got the exact details, but it's better on you cap wise with those signing trades.
No, it definitely is. And one team that made a lot of movement after, I guess I want to say, a failed season getting put out in the first round last year was the Lakers. Whereas some teams look to get younger, go for younger players to fit with older superstars. The Lakers decided to go with nothing but experience, sign players like Carmelo Anthony, Trevor Ariza, Dwight Howard, Russell Westbrook. Of course, health is always going to be a concern beginning of the season for any team. But if this team stays healthy, they're a championship or bust, right?
Yeah, that's why you sign those veteran players because the Lakers are playing for championships. At the end of the day, we all think LeBron is going to play forever, but he's at closer to the end than beginning. No disrespect on that. But you want players that have the same mindset. You know, Melo wants a championship. Dwight wants another one. Rondo wants another one. So championships is definitely on the mind of the Lakers. And I honestly, if they're healthy, they're right there. I know we look at last year and how they ended, but you got to kind of remember when LeBron was healthy, the Lakers were at the top of the West. So, you want to see him healthy. Westbrook's going to give it all he's got this year, and it'll be interesting to see the young pieces that does help to the team. Taylor Horton Tucker, Kendrick Nunn, and Malik Monk. I'm looking at those three in particular because I think one of them will be the difference, because you got to replace the consistency of KCP this year. I think they're going to miss KCP more than some people may think, but definitely love Kendrick Nunn, the Kendrick Nunn edition. I've been on my he should start for this team campaign all summer, so I don't think it's going to go that way, but we'll see.
All right. And now to get into this NBA preview show, we're going to bring in our first guest, Justin P.A. Franchise.
What up, man?
What's going on, Justin, man? How you living?
Man, I'm living good, man. Just so much NBA content this weekend I'm doing. Like, I'm so excited to be on this preview show and be with the Hooples, as we always do almost every Wednesday. Just excited. So I'm happy to be on. Thank y'all for having me.
Shout out to Justin. You always got a lot going on, killing it on YouTube, and you definitely been a part of all our rooms, so we definitely appreciate that.
Nah, definitely, man.
For sure.
And just, getting into this NBA season, what's one of the things you're looking forward to this year before we really get into it?
Man, 75 years of the NBA, like, it's just so overwhelming and amazing that they kept up this long since it was created, in 1946. But the MVP race is so wide open this year. Anybody could win it. Like, anybody could win it. A lot of injuries that we had last year, but this year, all the teams is coming back really healthy. I mean, it's going to be a great season, and seeing new players in new situations. I mean, it can't get no better. This might be the best season possibly. Well, everything is so good, and if everyone stays healthy and the MVP race is so wide open, I think this is the best season that we had in a few years.
No, it for surely is lining up like that, especially with just how much talent is in the league right now.
Yep.
So much young talent, which is, I think I've always been saying that's kind of the difference between the early 2000s and now, where there's no top gap between the talents. Like, some players go out and those next line of players just come in and just are just as good as those players that come out the league. But just to get into it real quick, like I said, there is a lot of young players right now who are really good and really emerging. Ja Morant, De'Aaron Fox, DeAndre Ayton, just to name a few. Out of all the younger players right now, which one you think could be a first-time All-Star this year?
Man, I had a list together, and there's so many on the list right here. I feel like LaMelo Ball, that Charlotte team is going to be super underrated. I feel like LaMelo, just bringing the eyes to Charlotte. And, winning Rookie of the Year, he got all the hype and everything to come this season, especially with a pretty good Charlotte Hornets team. I feel like he could possibly make a case to be a first-time All-Star. Ja Morant, I want to say Ja Morant and De'Aaron Fox, but the West is so loaded with so many talented guards like a Luka, Steph, and Dame that it's going to be hard to see like Ja and De'Aaron Fox. But De'Aaron Fox is in the bad Kings team, and the only way that he could make the All-Star team if he put up eye-popping numbers. Like Zion put up eye-popping numbers last year, and he became an All-Star, but the Pelicans team wasn't that good. So LaMelo got a good chance. A really underrated person that I could see that could make a case in the All-Star is Jeremiah Grant from the Detroit Pistons. You've seen what he did after Denver, he went to Detroit and put up really good numbers. Even though the team wasn't really that good, but they're too young, and then he got part of the USA team. He could make a case to be a first-time All-Star in that forward front court. Christian Wood, if stays healthy with Houston, putting up a double-double, very improved player, could make a case. But like I said, the Walker's team, I don't know if they're going to be that great, but he can have a chance to get into the All-Star realm and all that. DeAndre Ayton, the only thing with that, he got to stay healthy. Is the Suns going to pay him? I hope they pay him, because I said it on Breaking the Game. They need to pay the man, especially coming out in the playoffs doing really well. And the only thing the Suns was lacking was size in the finals. So, DeAndre Ayton could make a case to be in that front court. So, but I think LaMelo might have a really good shot this year.
Yeah, definitely like the names he ran off. LaMelo, I asked this question over the summer. LaMelo was definitely a popular answer. I think DeAndre Ayton is going to be a good answer.
Yeah,
especially they're gonna be winning, so that always helps the coaches pick you when you don't get the fan vote.
No, for sure. And this bringing up DeAndre Ayton real quick, like I say, Phoenix have already said they're not going to give him that extension right now. Of course, we know at some point he is going to get it. But how important is it to, kind of finish those talks off now rather than let those linger during the regular season when we know it can become a distraction for most people?
Yeah, like it's just like. It's like I just didn't understand the situation. I mean, I understand, you're probably like risking like, oh, he probably not going to be healthy and all that. But DeAndre Ayton, with Chris Paul's influence with that Suns team, DeAndre Ayton played really well in the playoffs and all that. Gave the business to Anthony Davis in that first round. Then played really well against the Joker in the second round. So I mean, like, why would you not pay the guy? Like, why would you not pay the guy? Everybody was thinking that he was going to be like a overall first pick bust and all that. Yeah, he just couldn't stay. He just couldn't stay healthy. And then with Chris Paul's leadership and actually got him to work on his game, DeAndre got a lot of game and got a lot of potential. Just oozing that potential out. So yeah, I feel like with him, coming off, like Willie's success in the playoffs, I feel like he could be a really key contributor to the Suns offense. They really need DeAndre Ayton to go, because we always depend on Chris Paul and Devin Booker. We don't know how Chris Paul is going to be. We don't know how healthy he's going to be. Devin Booker, we expect that he's going to put up numbers and everything, but sometimes he play inconsistent at times. But DeAndre Ayton could be a really good focal point, to that Suns offense to get them into like that top three. Because if they're not in the top three, it's just because DeAndre Ayton didn't play well.
No, yeah, I definitely agree with that. What's like we seen Phoenix last year, stay on them real quick. Or we seen them not make the playoffs the year before and come back and go to the NBA Finals. Do you think it's a team that can surprise, maybe not go to the finals, but kind of make a run at it that you're not expecting to make a run for it?
They can possibly, but it just depends on the health of Chris Paul. You've seen that they made the finals last year. It's just because almost like all the teams were injured. The Lakers, the Clippers, the Warriors. Like they have a chance to be like a legit team and everything if everyone can stay healthy. Because that's the thing with the Suns, they made it all the way to the finals because they stayed healthy, especially Chris Paul. Surprisingly, Chris Paul stayed healthy because he couldn't get a chance in Houston, or it was just like, wow. But if they stay healthy, I feel like I'm glad they pick up JaVale McGee. Everybody clown him about being Shaq in the 4 and all that. If you look at him the past couple of years, he's been a really good, valuable asset in defense for the Lakers and the Warriors. So that was a really good pickup today. They got Landry Shamet, who's a bucket too as well. Cameron Payne coming off the bench as the backup point guard to Chris Paul. You still got everybody. Jay Crowder. You still got everybody. Monty Williams did a great job with this core group. I feel like nobody didn't expect them to have really high expectations, but now since they made it to the finals, there's expectations for them. So now you have to figure out, Chris Paul and Devin Booker, like, how they're going to go, how far they can go, with them, going with that team. DeAndre Ayton, the same thing to him as well. Mikal Bridges, Cameron Johnson surprised everybody in the playoffs last year, the way that he played and everything. So is he going to be another person that's going to come out and stand out? So that Suns team is really good on paper. They were lacking in size in the finals. Like I said, they got JaVale McGee. So can they keep this up? But the West is so loaded. There's so many teams. The Warriors amping up back, which, that goes into a lot of discussion and everything. So they have a chance. They have potential. Just health is like the serious concern.
Right. And real quick, who's a player you're excited to watch this year?
Oh, man. I'm really excited to watch. I'm always interested in seeing like the young guys. But if I had to pick one player, I would say, man, I would just say I'm excited to see what Zion's going to do with New Orleans. I just hate that, Brandon Ingram is like an ISO player. Him and Zion can't really figure things out, as a team. But with his eye-popping numbers, 61% field goal, and putting up the numbers like in a bad New Orleans uniform, and then switching through head coaches, I'm always excited because Zion's one of my favorite players to watch. I'm excited to see what he can do. And, hopefully, he can just go ahead and just put his head down and just play. I know he's frustrated with the organization and everything. Hopefully, there'll be a better team. Hopefully they can pick some pieces around them and kind of rebuild from there. Losing Lonzo Ball is huge. because you depend on them for alley hoops and everything. So it'd be interesting to see what Zion can do, and is he going to have a lot of responsibilities this year? He got hurt, he got surgery, he's coming back, so we'll just have to wait and see. I feel like he's one of those players that could easily be a top 10 player if he had a really good team around him.
Nah, yeah, definitely. Just see Zion kind of move his way and say top 10, depending on how his New Orleans season goes. But we appreciate you for coming on real quick. Like I say, stay in, just stick around in the back. We're going to try to bring you on a little bit later on. Like,
thank y'all
coming on real quick.
Appreciate your franchise.
Thank y'all, man.
So Zion is a player I think everybody is excited to watch this year, just to continue to see his growth. Like I say, last year 27-7 on 61% shooting, but the team isn't really constructed for that team to be a winning team right now. As Justin was just saying, going through another head coach, trading Lonzo Ball. I know they got Devontae Graham as well, but do you see New Orleans taking a step forward or just kind of staying where they're at right now?
Right, going through another head coach is tough, but I'd rather, you don't want to get into firing your coaches, but you'd rather go ahead and get it right. And Stan Van Gundy, it just seems like it didn't work there, which I personally like Stan Van. I think he's a solid coach, but you don't want to make it a thing, this third coach, third person in his ear. So, but I like Willie Green. I've liked him since he's with the 76ers. He's a smart dude, great basketball mind. Sure. Like JP said, is really trying to figure out, because you got these two things in Brandon Ingram, who made an all-star team without Zion. And Zion makes it last year. They're both 25 points per game scorers. And it's just how you put the right pieces around them to make that fit. I think Lonzo was the best point guard for them because he's a distributor and he runs a team. Graham's more of a scorer, but they also have Kyra Lewis, who they drafted in the first round last year, that a lot of people was high on. I know I thought he was going to be pretty good. You get Nick Alexander. I don't know how you say his whole last name. Alexander Gilchrist, I believe it is.
No, he's Alexander Walker.
Alexander Walker, excuse me. He's Shay's cousin. Yeah. Shay Gilchrist, Alexander's cousin. So, but you got him. He's a big point guard. He's a good distributor also. It's just getting those pieces to put around Zion. You got this thing averaging 27 points on 90% shooting from the field. Right. So you gotta. I've been on record saying a bunch of times you gotta take advantage of Zion's prime, and that's right now. Honestly,
right, for sure. Do you think? He said he got LaMelo as a first-time All-Star this year. How tough do you think it'll be for LaMelo? It's tough for any second-year player, but for a LaMelo player in Charlotte, he needs the fan votes to honestly get in there. You think he has a chance to get in there because he's a fan vote, you're a starter? And
he could get the fan vote because I think LaMelo's such a big personality. People like him. Like he's been in the public eye for a minute, social media. His family had the show on Facebook watching a few years ago. Of course, we know the 90-point game in high school and just everything he's been through. But he's also been a really good player. He won Rookie of the Year last year. I think he raises the level of everyone in Charlotte. If Charlotte's winning, LaMelo's going to be a big part of that, and I think he's going to be in the conversation because he's coming in this year as a starter for the whole year. So definitely expect to see his assist numbers up, his rebounds numbers up, and I think he's going to average between 16 to 20 points per game, somewhere in that range. If he could be consistent with shooting the ball, which I think he proved. I don't think he's a good shooter, but he proved that he can make shots, and I think that's what he just needs to continue to grow on that. And if Charlotte's winning, he's definitely going to get a look, not even just by the fans, but I think the coaches will reward him if Charlotte is doing what they did last year.
No, I think that's right. What about Ja Morant? I know a lot of people was high on Ja Morant coming to this year. They gave him that third-year comparison of a Derrick Rose and a Russell Westbrook, who numbers, jumped up tremendously in their third year. You think Ja Morant can take a big leap like that and maybe still an all-star spot from somebody?
Yeah, Ja's my favorite young player in the NBA. I call him Allen Iverson 2.0. Not because they necessarily play the same, but just the energy, the way he plays. I think the fans like him, like how they did Iverson.
Yeah.
I love his leadership, especially as such a young player. He had great leadership there in Memphis, but I think Memphis could potentially be better this year. Jaren Jackson's going to be healthy for the start of the season, so that helps them. If you think last year, Ja started off so strong and then he got hurt and he missed a good amount of time, so he stays healthy. I think Ja's definitely going to be on the mind of people because he's going to be on SportsCenter every night, if not every other night, because of a play. And the numbers are going to back up what he's doing also.
No, I definitely agree with that. And he's going to be a social media star, like I say, with just those highlight plays he's got to make on SportsCenter on games every night. So Ja's definitely going to be one of those players who can make an all-star game or even just compete for one this year going into his third year.
Yeah, and Ja's a winner too. Like his first year there, he had him in the playoffs before the stoppage. Right. They obviously didn't make it because of the bubble. But then you bounce back last year, and I think it was big for them to make the playoffs while missing their second best player. So I think winning always helps.
No, definitely. And speaking of playoff teams, last year we had the New York Knicks make the playoffs for the first time since 2013.
Somewhere in that
range. No disrespect to them, but the Knicks have had a great offseason signing players. They get Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, bring Taj Gibson back, bring Derrick Rose back. How much do you think the Knicks are going to improve this year before we bring in two special Knicks guests real quick?
I think this year, like next year, they were a surprise. We all knew Tibbs coming in was going to bring some discipline there. That's just what he's done everywhere. Even in Minnesota, last time Minnesota made the playoffs, Tibbs was the coach.
Yep.
So we knew players was going to play hard. Practices were probably going to be a little longer, but they were going to try and play the right way. And you got a career year out of Julius Randle. Derrick Rose finished as a Sixth Man of the Year candidate. I think Emmanuel quickly caught a lot of people off by surprise last year. Reggie Bullock looked good. Alec Burks looks good when he's healthy. And then you come in this year, and basically you bring that back. Nerlens Noel had a great year last year too. Right. You bring that back with the health of Mitchell Robinson this year. And I really like adding Fournier and Kemba because they're impact players, but they're team players also at the same time.
Yep.
So, if it's their night and they're rolling, they'll shoot the ball, but they also are cool with passing the ball, moving around, setting screens for their teammates. So this team, obviously, they're going to have some more expectations on them this year. Nothing too crazy where people are going to be demanding them go to the finals or nothing, but, finishing home court advantage last year in the top four, they're going to come back with some expectations, but I think they got the players that play the right way, and they got the right coach to kind of lead them through. With Tibbs as your coach, I expect you to compete for the playoffs always.
Always. Definitely.
Yeah, they're going to definitely be good this year. And I think RJ Barrett is going to make a third-year jump.
Sure. And to bring in our guests, we have Uncle Coach Farr and Edgar from New Tape City. What's going on, fellas?
What's up, guys?
What's happening, nephews?
How y'all feeling today?
Good. Quite fine.
So we got two Knicks fans, but we got two different Knicks fans in different stages of their life. Coach Farr, no long-time Knicks fan, no disrespect. We can see it in the salt and pepper. And then of course Edgar, the younger generation, definitely represent two different sides of Knick Nation. But the Knicks had a busy offseason improving their team, coming off a playoff run that I know Knicks fans expected it, but not everybody else expected it. What's just the feeling coming into the summer, coming off that playoff run?
I don't even think we actually expected it, to be honest.
No,
we ain't
let Coach go.
Yeah, I want to hear experience. I know Coach has that experience, so he's been there for all the ups and downs for the Knicks team. So, Coach, what is it like coming off that playoff run?
So great. It was beautiful. Even with the loss. There's a lot of Knicks fans that's mad at the loss, and I get it. But we here.
Right?
And we haven't been here in a while.
Right.
And I started watching the Knicks back in like 82. You know what I mean? I was there when Mark Jackson got drafted. I was there when Rod Strickland got drafted. I was there when Patrick Ewing got drafted. I was there when Bernard King went down. All of that. Rick Pitino, Stu Jackson, all of that. And this has been great. When they brought in Tibbs, I knew this was coming. Because Tibbs was a part of that 90s stuff. Mm-hmm. He was an assistant coach for us back then under Van Gundy.
Yeah, okay.
So he knows what New York is like when it's winning. He knows what winning is like because he did it in Chicago. He won in Minnesota as far as getting them to the playoffs. That dude knows how to grind and knows how to win. So when he was hired, I was like, we got the coach. And I wasn't worried about, he's only going to play the vets and he's going to wear everybody. Stop. Everybody elevates. Everybody evolves.
Right.
You're not the same two guys you were 2 years ago. So if anyone's going to hold you to who you were 2 years ago, you instantly don't listen to them at all.
Surely.
How are you holding Tibbs to who he was in an era where he needed to be that person? He doesn't need to be that person in this era. So why are you holding him to that? Many players have come forward saying, nah, Tibbs is different. He learned this, he learned that. Of course, you add to your toolbox and look at the result.
That orange and blue pride flying now. Edgar, coming off that playoff ride, how you feeling this summer, man?
I'm feeling good. I was obviously disappointed on how things ended. I mean, but I can't hate that the better team ended up beating us. You know, I talked a lot of trash, but at the end of the day, it was what it was. We lost to a team that went to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. I think, you know, I constantly think of that game one steal, like that steal that RJ Barrett almost had against Bogey in the corner where he hit that three that gave them the lead. I think if that play would have, like if RJ would have gotten that steal, maybe a few things could have ended up a little bit differently. I don't know, but still, I mean, I'm very happy with how the summer went. I think we made some key acquisitions with Kemba and Fournier. We're getting Mitchell Robinson back healthy, hopefully healthy this season. He had 2 freak accidents, like freak injuries. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope nobody gets injured on the squad this year, but I know that's not going to be the case. We're going to have some injuries here and there. I just hope it's not any season-ending type of stuff because, to be honest, I think the biggest thing that could hold this Knicks team back from reaching its true potential would be health. Because aside from health, I think that the pieces are there to improve upon what was upon the what was made last season, right? Like I think no disrespect to Reggie Bullock and Elfrid Payton, but when you look at guys like Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier, those are clear upgrades over those 2 guys. They bring a lot more to the table in terms on offense. And they can also hold their own weight on defense. It's not like they're both slouch who don't play any type of defense. Tibbs will get them to commit to that end of the floor. And we all know what happens. If they don't commit to that end of the floor, they won't see playing time. That's how Tibbs is. He's like that with every single player on the roster. Exactly. So I expect both of them, if fully healthy, to contribute right away to the offense. I mean, it was one preseason game against the Pacers. We all know it's just preseason. But the offense looked a lot better. It looked free-flowing. Guys were moving from corner to corner. There was backdoor cuts. There was guys getting the ball from double teams and like driving to the basket and then kicking the ball out. Everybody was looking for the open man, something that didn't happen during the Hawks series. We looked completely stale. There was no real movement on offense. We couldn't hit a 3 to save our lives. So I do think these 2 new guys are really going to bring life to the offense while also bringing some solid defense. And the addition of Mitchell Robinson, like having him back healthy, it's like signing a brand new free agent, to be honest, because he missed a lot of last season. And this guy is a big pick and roll threat. Right. This guy's a big pick and roll threat, a big lob threat. He blocks shots. He knows how to rebound. What was it? I think it was 2 seasons ago. He led the NBA in field goal percentage. So that right there is huge. I mean, somebody like a Clint Capella, you know, has to worry about guarding Mitchell Robinson, right? Like I love Nerlens Noel, but Nerlens Noel doesn't bring us. He's not an offensive threat. You know, it's just putting it bluntly. It is what it is. You know.
No,
and
he's got concrete hands on offense. He's got the best, softest, most powerful hands on defense. But on offense, it's like clump. And I just it befuddled me all season. Like, yo, how do you have such nice hands in this scenario? But in this scenario, you don't even know how the elbow works. Like, what?
But listen, let me tell you guys, let me tell you guys, I'm also extremely excited about the young guys we have on the team because we all know that prior years, like player development wasn't a strength of the Knicks. We've always drafted guys and they've never really stuck around. But now we got Quickly, we got Obi, we got Deuce, we got Grimes, we got Jericho Sims. Mitchell Robinson is still young. RJ is still very young. So it looks like the player development for the New York Knicks is trending in the right direction. Like we have guys that could actually stick with our franchise rather than just disappear in a year or two. Well, except for Kevin Knox. I mean, I hate to say it, but
I'm not about to agree with you. I know what you're about to do.
right.
We about to have our first on-air argument.
No, seriously, like y'all have the last 2 drafts have been amazing. Shout out to that front office, that new front office y'all have in there, who is taking that part of the game very seriously. Because if you can't draft those young players that can stick around, that just keeps that talent level and that team being good for a very long time. Exactly. Just speaking of one of the players y'all signed free agents, and Kemba Walker is coming home. What's it like having, he wanted to come there. You don't always see those hometown players want to go back and play for their city, but Kemba went back to New York. What's it like having a legend like that coming back and playing for the Knicks?
Now, I'm glad you said it how you said it, family, because that's important. When you talk culture, when you're talking a new vibe and change, you're talking about not just Kemba, but Tosh took less money to stay.
Yeah.
Randall took less money to stay.
Yeah.
Derek took a little bit less money to stay.
He did. Yep.
They all have realized, nah, there's something building here. This is kind of where we want it to happen. And they know when success happens in New York, that's legacy building. You know what I mean? You do it in New York, 10 years later, somebody see you walking down the street. Yo, it's you! You know, they're doing that to folk like Kuzmingus. And they're doing that to them now. You know what I mean? Frank Ntilikina right now is causing drama in Knicks Twitter. Right now. You know what I mean? So when you ascend and you're great, oh my God. And Kemba knows this. You know?
Sure.
I mean, coming in, he knows, like, dude, just off gate, I've done something just coming back home. But if we win and I win here, done. You getting free haircuts for the rest of your life in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? It's done. So, and going back to the first preseason game, yeah, it's preseason. But one thing we know about Tibbs don't care preseason. He's playing games.
Yeah.
And what I saw in the first 3 quarters was Tibbs playing 3 quarters of this is prime basketball time for my guys to get out there, run our offense, run our defense, and get used to playing basketball.
True. Yep, definitely.
If Indiana came in talking about it's preseason, that's their fault. That's their fault. You got to know your audience. And Tom Thibodeau is, if that's your audience, you might want to have Miles Turner and them actually like revving up basketball practice before that game. And we're going to see it again tonight against the Wizards. Wizards got Spencer Dinwiddie, who is really a marvelous player. And they've got a good dimension going on. But they're going to find a regular season team tonight, at least for 3 quarters.
I definitely agree with that.
You know, and for Kemba to get used to the system, he's got to do that.
Yep.
He can't walk you in and then when the regular season is, okay, this is for real now, and now I'm installing the packages. Nah, you guys got to get used to how we do off gate. And I noticed with Evan Fournier, Randall's going to have a good time playing with Evan Fournier because Evan Fournier going to keep the ball and make Randall move.
Yeah.
But that's going to make defenses react, and Randall's going to be wide open a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Watching Kemba deliver that ball and do what he does. Kemba and Derrick Rose are the same being. But now we have that as a starter and off the bench.
Yep.
You know, we don't have stagnation at the point guard to start and then flow coming in the second unit. Now we've got flow in the first unit and flow in the second. Bro, I'm sorry. I'm very excited.
I hear
you know, I mean, when you really look at it come about, and then you see that the defense is going to be there. Dude, teams, you don't sleep. Don't sleep this year. Don't sleep. Because, you know, make sure you don't go to the club the night before you play the Knicks. Because you're going to be tired, and the thighs ain't going to be working the same, because you're going to have Hennessy in the thighs and young ladies in the thighs and stuff, and you're going to be tired, and the Knicks are going to take advantage of y'all.
No, that's
just
real.
what it is.
No, that's real. Y'all do have a really good team coming in. And just real quick before we get out of here, I want to ask both of y'all, Edgar, I'm going to start with you. What's your realistic expectation for this team this year?
Realistic expectation for the New York Knicks this year, I'd say a top 6 finish. I'm gonna say 4 seed again. I think we can go back and get that 4 seed again. I think we can definitely build upon what we had last year. I think the roster got stronger. The pieces are gonna fit together pretty well. I just hope that the basketball gods bless us with good health. So that way. What was that?
Oh no, you good.
Nah, good health. I was agreeing. Yep.
Yeah. I hope the basketball gods bless us with good health. Actually, you know what? I hope the basketball gods bless every team with good health, because to be honest, I was sick of seeing like guys getting injured left and right last season. It just sucked, like to see guys grabbing their knees and their feet and all that stuff. It's heart-wrenching, Like I know the Jamal Murray one really hit me hard last season because I watched his face and it just sucks so bad, right? But I hope most of the teams stay as healthy as possible. Like I don't want to see no serious injuries, especially for my Knicks. I think Tom Thibodeau is going to have these guys ready to play, ready to go. Game 1 of the regular season against the Celtics. I think he already, to be honest, I think he pretty much has his rotation set. He's that type of coach. He pays attention to detail way before the season starts. Yeah. I think once Mitch is back fully healthy, I think he'll be the full-time starter at center if he stays healthy as well. Jericho Sims, I'm excited about him, but I think he's definitely going to see a lot of G League time. He's still very raw.
He needs that.
He's very
he's very excited. Honestly, I hope they all play G League minutes this year.
Yeah, and that's not a bad thing because all three guys seem to be pretty humble kids. Like they seem like they wouldn't be opposed to being in the G League and learning from other guys there
too. I'd be more afraid if they had an attitude about it. Like, hold on, y'all just got here. Y'all better go into this G League and stop playing. I'd have more issues if they were like, I don't want to play the G League and doing some old I'm Ben Simmons stuff.
Right. So I expect the Knicks to get the 4 seed. I expect us to win a playoff series this year. I really think so. I really think we can win a playoff series. I think that's the next step for us. Win a round and keep building, because I think some of the guys that came back realized that, hey, we're not going to win a championship this year, maybe not next year or anything like that. But it's about planting the seeds for the team to keep improving, and we want to be a part of that. We might not be a part of the finished product, but we can say that we were part of the product to get to the main course.
4th round, 50 wins, first round victory.
I say 50 wins.
Hey, that's simple, right?
Right, yeah.
Just that simple.
Coach, we appreciate y'all coming on and joining us.
Dude, we appreciate you inviting us, man. I don't want to speak for Eric, my man, but I appreciate you.
You guys are my favorite Hawk fans. You and Jelani.
Yo, I got love for them Hawks though, because them Hawks are a tough ass team. And here's my thing: all y'all needed was the right coach. No disrespect to Jacques Vaughn, but he wasn't it.
Bad on both sides, honestly. Like y'all finally got y'all coach.
Yeah. And Nate McMillan is a freaking juggernaut coach beast. I swear. I knew y'all were going to be successful the minute he came on board. I knew it. That was my only caveat when we matched up. I was like, shoot, they got Nate McMillan. That's really, honestly, that's what gave me pause. It wasn't no player. It was that coach. Because coaching matters. People act like coaching doesn't matter. Yes. Yes, it does.
No, it matters a lot. Like Nate McMillan really unleashed the potential of your team. Like he really did.
Snap.
No.
Y'all
on right. Next season coming up. Y'all ready to go. Y'all in sync already. But once again, we appreciate y'all for coming on. Like I said, we have time at the end. We might bring everybody back on at the end. But once again, Coach Edgar, appreciate y'all for stepping in real quick. it's good to see Knicks fans excited about basketball, like genuinely excited. We see that in Coach face, like say, been a fan since 82, so he's seen the ups and downs, the good years, the bad years. Edgar, a younger fan, so he's getting ready to see if this team can build on that. Just looking at what this Knicks team done over the last 2 off seasons, do you think they are making the right moves to, stay right there, being a good playoff team?
Yeah, because I can remember the start of last year, just people not really knowing what they were gonna get, how Worldwide West and what's my guy, Leon Rose, how they were gonna be in the front office, how the team was gonna mesh with Tibbs, and they played well from the beginning and they kept running. But I think they made a good point. Adding Kemba this year is gonna really help them flow, because a lot of times, Julius Randle was kind of doing it all with that first unit, and they were just trying to hold on until Derrick Rose came in. And in my opinion, he won a lot of games for them last year. So Kemba, adding that offensive firepower plus adding players that are, they don't got to be locked down one-on-one defenders. They're going to be good team defenders.
Yeah.
Kemba and Fournier are both willing defenders, so I don't think Tibbs would have told Leon Rose or went with them going after them if they weren't going to play defense. They're definitely going to have a good year this year. They're going to have a solid year. I think they're right there in that mix. I can see home court for them. They're right there in that mix with Hawks, Bulls, Celtics. All of those teams right there. We're going to see who kind of stands out when the season happens.
And like I said, over the past couple of seasons, we've seen, having the right front office pieces does make a difference. We've seen it in Phoenix. We've seen it in New York.
Yep.
Not necessarily Utah, because they've had kind of the same continuity over the years, but having that continuity shows that off. Denver being a good team over the past seasons. And New Orleans kind of hoping for that same thing. Just having that good front office sets a precedent, because you know what to expect coming into the year.
They need to get rid of their GM first, but that's a conversation.
That's a conversation from another show. No, I kind of agree. I don't think they actually know what they're putting together down there, and that's just the honest truth. But
David Griffin's a little overrated. LeBron came and won him a championship, and he thinks he's one of the best GMs in the league. He's not.
Do you see a team taking that step this year that kind of, made some front office changes to help with the culture? You think a team can make that leap this year? Or do you see a team like that?
The only team I see with the league, they made a change last year as far as head coach. I don't know about GM. Is really the Bulls, because you just see what they came back in with this year and adding more to their team. So the Bulls are the main team that I see trying to take a leap this year.
No, for sure. Do you see any young teams in that position? I know teams like Orlando, Detroit, Houston, they have a lot of young talent, but they don't necessarily have that culture build up yet. Do you think any of those teams can take those leaps coming into the next couple of years?
Not Orlando or Houston, just because I think Houston's still trying to figure out what they want to do. I don't think Kevin Porter at point guard is going to work. I've seen a lot of people who love that, but we'll see. I think Jalen Green's going to be really, really good, though. The more I watch him play, the more I like him. I'm not going to go into his outrageous comparisons. It's been Kobe and Jordan, but he does do some amazing things.
No, for sure. Yeah.
Jalen Green's going to be – he's kind of my pick for Rookie of the Year.
That's why I'm just going to ask.
I don't even know, but first I didn't know how good he was going to be, but the more I watch him play, his confidence on the court, he's a vet confidence-wise. He has no fear out there. But Detroit, they could compete in the East, I think, because they have Jeremiah Grant that could be an all-star this year, like JP said earlier. I think Cade is probably the most he's the most ready to contribute to a team that's trying to win this year. So I don't think Detroit, and with the play-in just makes everything give you a chance. So Detroit has a chance to.
And Detroit is one of those weird teams where they got a super young team, but then a super veteran coach. Yeah, so Detroit could be one of those teams who could sneak in because their coach is going to instill that into them, or they could be one of those teams that's on the bottom of the conference.
Yeah, kind of like Charlotte last year, though. You add LaMelo to that team and Gordon Hayward, even though this team already had Jeremiah Grant, but you add the young rookie that, players in Detroit, they're going to like playing with Cade. He doesn't mind taking over in the fourth. He likes to pass the ball. He's defensive-minded. He really plays defense, which I really like about him. He can rebound and stuff like that.
Somebody call him a super Kyle Anderson.
That's fair. See, that's not fair to say to me, because I'm kind of biased towards Kyle. I think Kyle Anderson is a really, really good player.
No disrespect.
But Cade is definitely and Kyle was the number 2 player coming out of his high school class. So Kyle could play. He's just slow. He's not athletic. Slow-mo. Shout out to slow-mo. But Cade definitely is the next level of Kyle Anderson. And Kyle is a starter in this league, and he has it's some all-star flashes there. He's not an all-star player, but he could do some things.
He got
some all-star players.
He got the all-star, I guess, measurables. I guess that would be the word.
Good size, way past the ball. He can go ISO defensively. He's just
slow.
Slow mo.
And to bring in our last guest of the day, we bring in the unofficial third hooper, the host of What the Game Means to Me, my man Jelani Brown. Jelani, what's going on, man?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing, man?
What's going on, man?
Good. How about you, man?
Good as always. Just glad to be on here. Of course, I had to return the favor. Appreciate y'all for last night. And like I said, just ready to talk about some Hawks and some other teams as well.
No, definitely. Like I said, we definitely did the Atlanta Hawks fly through, coming off the couple preseason games. We all went to the open practice. Just not even speaking on the preseason games, but just the open practice where they're having a little fun and being a little loose out there. Which players kind of caught your eye out there?
Yeah, for me, of course, it was funny seeing Trey, act Jalil. Let me have this dance real quick. Then the legs and then shoot. I like that. I liked how they can. The one thing, like I said before, I guess get into the players, I liked how it seemed like everybody like genuinely was enjoying like just being out there, being with each other. Like people, there's guys that was healthy. I know a few didn't play, of course, like DeAndre, Herter, and Clint, but everybody just looked happy, looked like a bunch of smiles, and looked like they're a team that's gonna gel pretty well. Like they're gonna have a really good relationship, and obviously that type of stuff matters because it's gonna translate on the court. But outside of like I said, just that little moment, I actually liked some of the kids that's probably not even gonna get no play, or they're gonna be in College Park. I liked AJ Lawson a little bit. I liked what he was doing out there. He didn't do too much, but he's shown flashes. Even in the preseason games, I believe he had a few threes. Get to the rim, dunk and everything. He looked pretty athletic. And then of course, I'm big on Jalen Johnson. I know he's gonna do a lot of good things for us as well. Especially, I know they don't play the same position relatively, but I think like we have enough size and length to where Nate McMillan's gonna play around a little bit with the lineups. He could put him at the 4 a little bit. He played 3 a little bit with Big O probably out. He said throw him in at the 4 for sure, and then maybe Collins at the 5. Like I can definitely see them doing those stuff like that. They want to go, I guess, small for a little bit, and then maybe Cam or DeAndre at 3, and then Bogey at 2, stuff like that. So it's gonna definitely unleash a lot of potential for our lineups. Whether it's a bench play, starting, whatever the case may be. So definitely excited to see what all these guys bring to the team, whether it is in College Park or in Atlanta.
No, for sure. I know when we were speaking with the Knicks guys real quick, they was talking about how Tibbs was going to have his rotations and everything ready. Nate McMillan is that same type of coach where he's going to have everything ready to go by the beginning of the season. I know there are some injuries right now, and we kind of throw that factor into it. But do you think Nate McMillan already know what kind of team he's going to be throwing out there on a nightly basis?
I think so. For the most part, I do think so. I think he still, like you said, has a few – he'll have a few, I think like we said last night, it's going to be a lot of problems, but it's good problems to have because, it looks like everybody's back healthy. It looks like there's a lot of guys that's going to be pushing for those minutes, especially in the second unit. I know we talked about Herter and Cam. Those are going to be the 2 guys that's probably, first 2 off the bench, definitely vying for maybe 6th man of the year. And like I said, we got guys and talent that, I think one of you guys said it last night, Sharif is slotted as the third point guard, but his talent and his ability to be able to run the offense that we've seen these first few preseason games in the minutes that he has gotten, that's gonna that helps a lot because of the type of offense we run, pick and roll. We saw with the lob to John Collins, he's comfortable already. He knows the offense, and his shooting is getting a little better. Even I think it was a few times they had turned the ball over, but he had the ball and he shot it. And they were threes, and they still went in. So I think he's definitely gonna have his challenges. Like I said, it's definitely gonna be good challenges. For the most part, we know the top probably 8, maybe can even stretch it to 9 guys that's gonna be getting at least 20 plus minutes a night. Obviously starting 5. It's looking like Trey, Bogey, DeAndre, excuse me, John and Clint. And of course, Herter, Cam coming off the bench, Gallows still there, losing to give you some, valuable minutes here and there. When the team is down and needs a bucket, lose obviously. I know you're gonna throw in there. Right. Of course, like I said, we talked about Jalen Johnson a little bit. So it's so deep of a squad that he's gonna have a little bit of. I'm pretty sure he has obviously the first 8 guys set, and then it's just probably from there, depending on how they flow the rest of the or the beginning of the year, throughout the year. he's going to be able to play with those lineups and see like in specific matchups and specific games who's, needs these minutes, who needs, to be in the lineup, who needs to close his games, who needs to finish his games, stuff like that. Right. So definitely a good problem. I can't wait to see how it all, comes to fruition, like who's going to be doing what.
No, for sure. And coming off that deep playoff run into that Eastern Conference Finals, I think we all can agree it's a different type of energy coming to the Hawks season this year, like it is with the Knicks. Like that's what I was about to say.
Yeah, we definitely sharing similar passions, and like we're now a little bit excited. Like even like the other years, like the COVID year, the year right before COVID. Like I know it's a little bit of uncertainty with us drafting Trey, but like we could see like flashes here and there. It's like it wasn't as exciting, but like the year that I think COVID cut everything off, like I was a little bit more excited because I felt like we had a chance and everything. Like we could have possibly been like 8 seed, something like that. But and with John Collins, if he didn't miss those games,
right?
So like it was very possible because it was like 4 games out from playing or something like that. So but regardless, like this year is definitely like head and shoulders above any other year that I might have been excited about a team. And it's obviously it's credit to the health and then just the job that Nate McMillan did with this team, and now we can fully see everybody together for a full year, coaching staff wise, player wise. Is going to definitely, make a difference.
No, yeah, for sure. John Collins got his money. Like we discussed it a little bit last night. I don't really want to get in that because we all know what 5 years, $125 million can do for a player. You get that off your weight. But I know coming up in the next previous year, we are going to have to worry about players that we are going to have to bring back. Kevin Huerter, Cam Reddish, all those players will be up soon. How important of a season is this that we have that continued success so they kind of, even if it's not a little hometown discount, but they know this is a place they can come and compete for a championship.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, definitely big. I think out of those names, it's probably like I guess the name that situation I guess applies to the most probably would be Cam. Because I think looking at the other two, Kevin Huerter, they've already talked about trying to make the extension possible. Whether it's this year, right after this year, in the middle of this year, whatever the case may be. DeAndre, top 4 pick. Like I doubt they like just really let him slide, let him go like that. And plus the potential that he showed last year before he got hurt. And what we expect him to do this year is like that's one they probably would want to lock up. Cam is obviously the anomaly just a bit, just because DeAndre's been hurt too. He's been hurt a lot. He's been a little bit more inconsistent out of the 3, and but his potential is what. It's just incredible. Like his skyrocket is through the roof. Like we've been saying, his peers talk about him highly. They felt like and voted that he could be or have the best career out of that draft class. So for him, I think it means the most. Obviously, he even I guess it's a side thing. He changed agents. He's now didn't change agents, but he was with Rich Paul and them, I believe, which they typically get their guys money. So it's and I'm sure there's teams obviously that love what he does and can do, and like I said, that potential factor, like we're seeing it now in the preseason. He can score the ball. He's a great defender, and those type of guys get paid. And so when you're with Rich Paul's camp, you're going to get paid regardless. So I think this is a big year for all 3 of them, especially all 3 of our wings or whatever. But it's definitely, I feel like, a big year for him because of these decisions that's going to come up for us, like. Will we? And his name's been in trade talks. Like, will they possibly trade him? I don't think so. I don't think they should. But will we possibly trade him for a star, make a move for a star, or will we just let him not extend him after or when his extension is up? Just certain things like that. Like I think we're just banking on him having a big year, and he has a big year, but also sees and knows like he can grow with this team, and he fits well with this team, and he likes Coach McMillan, which it seems like he does. Then he said maybe not a hometown discount, but we can figure something now, hopefully, to try to keep 2 to 3 of them. I would obviously I want all 3. I want to keep all 3. I love Kayvon / Ray Velvet, love DeAndre, love Cam. I love them all. So hopefully we can find a way to keep him here. But I think out of those 3, I think he's the one that is like we got to kind of look out for, or think about the most, at least in those contract talks.
No, for sure. Coming off 5th seed Eastern Conference appearance last year, what's your realistic expectations for the Hawks coming into the season?
Just like Edgar said, Foz said, like one with good health. Like I'm praying for good health for all teams, but especially with us, Atlanta Hawks. Like if we have good health, I can definitely see us locking in a top 3 seed for sure. I think I have us just edging out like Miami at 3, and then it's probably gonna be close. Probably be like game or two difference, but I can definitely see them locking up a top 3 seed. Hopefully somewhere in the 55 win range, somewhere in there, or 55 to 60. That's probably maybe what's going to be needed in order to get a top 3 seed, especially with Brooklyn and Brooklyn Nets, Bucks, even the Knicks. I know we didn't talk about much last night on the show, but I throw them in there today. Miami and a few other guys, but I definitely can see, like I said, hopefully them locking up a top 3 seed, somewhere between 55, 60 wins. Like we talked about last night, I definitely expect at least 1 to 2 All-Stars. Like I'm pretty sure, like I said, Trey's gonna come back with a little bit of vengeance. Like last year, like y'all said, it got docked because we were just going through turmoil coming up All-Star season. Like we just fired, Lloyd Pierce, I think right before, right after, the All-Star break. We wasn't really winning. We had our expectations coming in. I think a lot of us had them around like 6 or 7 seed. So I think this year we don't have those problems and thoughts. I think he can just go out there and hoop like he had been. And I think he's just in for a big year. All that hype and everything carried over from the playoff series that we just watched him perform in. He's gonna continue to keep his foot on the gas and gonna do the same thing this year. So definitely expect that. And then hopefully we get 1 or 2 guys in all NBA defensive team, because I feel like we have too many great defenders for there not to be at least one.
Right.
You got a leading rebounder, and you don't. And I think I forgot he was like top what? He had been, I think, top 5 or top 3. Yeah, top 3 in blocks. Yeah. So and to not make it, I think definitely we should start getting a little bit more respect and some love in some of these listen awards.
No, for surely. But like I said, we appreciate you for stepping on. I want you to stay on the screen because we're going to bring everybody back in real quick to end it off here. We got Justin. We got Coach Fong. Just step back into the camera for me. And we got Edgar right here at the bottom. So I want to go around. Sorry about that. My bad. Justin.
I got the kids and the puppies and stuff I got to work with.
We're going to get y'all out. We know it's Saturday. I don't want to hold y'all on a Saturday. I know it's nice out with everybody yet. So just real quick, coming into year 75 of the NBA, I think this is going to be a big year for a lot of players and a lot of teams. But I want to start with Edgar down here real quick. Outside of your Knicks or any Knicks players, what's one of the things you are excited about for this season?
I'm excited to see a couple of young players. I'm pretty excited to see Ja Morant. I think he can get to he can be an all-star this season. I do think he needs to clean up his three-point shooting a bit because it did take a bit of a dip from his first season, but I think he'll clean that up. I definitely think he could be an all-star, him or De'Aaron Fox. I'm also very excited to see Jordan Poole play with the Warriors.
Yes.
He's a very, very fun and exciting type of player to watch. Yes. I can't wait to see what he does with the Warriors fully healthy now. I think he's one of those guys that can possibly take a next step. I don't know about an all-star, but he can definitely become like a main starter type of guy and maybe keep evolving his game onto that, or maybe or I can see him also being a 6th man, which is not a bad thing at all. Like he has that type of scoring game. I'm also very excited to see what, I don't know. I'm just excited to see in general what all the teams do. You know why? Because I feel like all the teams got better. Like a lot of the teams added a lot of teams. Right. And even if like the lower teams who weren't that good last season didn't add anything to become playoff contenders or championship contenders, I still think they added enough in order to like make themselves watchable. Like they have young talent that you do want to see on any given night. So I do think it would be fun. I also think I'm very excited to see what the Bucks do coming this season, because there's a lot of disrespect with them. Like a lot of people that think that they can't repeat, that there's no chance that they'll repeat. I think they're the defending champions. I think they're the defending champions for a reason. They still got Giannis, one of the best players in the entire world, and they have that roster mainly unchanged. So I think it's pretty disrespectful to say that they have no chance of repeating. I think they can prove a lot of people wrong, and I think they have a decent chance of repeating, like a good chance.
No doubt.
No, they do. Coach, you just brought it up, Coach. It is hard to repeat. and we've seen it a couple times, but you never know how the next season can go. Like I say, health can always be an issue. Just continue
Teams get better every year.
So, with that being said, do you think Milwaukee have a good chance of repeating this year?
Yeah. I mean, they are the champs. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, here's the thing that people are forgetting. With the exception of PJ Tucker, pretty much everybody's coming back. And they got a couple of different people this year.
Mm-hmm.
But it was Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis Antetokounmpo is why they won that chip.
Yeah.
And Bobby
now
Portis.
They got a second year.
Bobby Portis, yep.
And Bobby Portis. And my man, Bobby Portis.
Don't forget Crazy Eyes.
Yo. You know what I mean? Yo, he could see tomorrow yesterday. I mean, it's very impressive. But those guys are all coming back, and this is their second year with Holiday. Last year was a learning experience for a lot of it. Chemistry means a lot, and they won with chemistry. Now, granted, yes, injuries did hit, and it hit a lot of teams. You know what I mean? But injuries happen. So to me, that's not a quantifiable where, I got to discount this team because, that other team had injuries. Dude, right now the Lakers and quietly the Nets are dealing with AARP. Let's just keep it a buck. You know what I mean? Wilford Brimley peoples and Cocoon is in the building. Like, come on. I mean, LaMarcus Aldridge literally retired last year due to health because he almost didn't make it. And now he's back. You know what I mean? Paul Millsap was a name 10 years ago. He was a name when I didn't have salt in my pepper. Now I got salt in my pepper and he got water in his knees. It's what it is. You know what I mean? So, I mean, and then you go to the Lakers and they went straight to the old school flea market. I mean, we've done this before. I saw this with the Knicks with the plantar fasciitis school. You know what I mean? We had 40-year-old Knicks. We had 4 of them, and it was great, 54 wins. But at the end of the season, every last one of them had plantar fasciitis.
I can attest to that.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
That's why I call them the plantar fasciitis crew.
And that's
how I remember that season. And that's what these guys are dealing with right now. So, listen, it's all up in the air. And the Bucks have a really good chance. Miami has a really good chance, though. I mean, the additions that Miami made, including PJ Tucker and Kyle Lowry. Bro, what? I feel like the Heat aren't being talked about enough. And I know Vice Pres would love to hear me say that. Mo would love to hear me say that right now. Big shouts to Mo up in flames. But, I mean, I feel like that team needs to be talked about a lot more because to me, with Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, and company, Bam, and PJ added, that could honestly be net kryptonite with Kyrie there.
Yeah.
One of the Morris twins, too. I forgot which one.
Dude, Marquise. You got knuckle and head right there. Perfect. Yeah, I mean, honestly,
that team is going to be
That
team is going to be a pain in the ass to score against.
A lot of teams this year, bro. And then when that hits the playoffs and that chemistry comes together,
it's crazy.
That could easily be super team kryptonite, in my humble opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. I want to go with Justin that then, Miami has been one of the teams that have been flying under the radar. As they got Kyle Lowry and they got talked about in that moment, but nobody is really talking about the Heat as being a contender.
Did y'all see that preseason game?
Yeah,
they're
already there. They look like they got, as soon as Kyle Lowry signed, he was on the plane and they got right to it. They weren't missing a beat. And when you have players like Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry, who are going to hold everybody else accountable, you can.
And you know how Joel feels about Jimmy Butler.
But Justin, do you think Miami can be one of those teams that could knock off a team like the Brooklyn Nets or the Milwaukee Bucks on their way to the championship?
Oh, they have so much potential. We seen they beat the Bucks and 2 seasons ago, with the roster they had and everything. I feel with the addition of Kyle Lowry, that's a really good asset because he's the playmaker. He's going to facilitate the offense. Jimmy Butler, hopefully he comes back and plays consistent in terms of scoring, but he wasn't healthy last year. Bam Adebayo, playing really well, stepping up to his role, being an all-star. I feel like he can be an all-star again this year.
And an Olympian.
An Olympian too as well. Tyler Hero, everybody's been, disgracing him. Is he going to be like the Tyler Hero from 2020 in the playoffs? The thing with Tyler Hero, he doesn't even have to bring the ball up the floor and be like the point guard responsibility. He could play off the ball. That's Kyle Lowry's job to facilitate and all that. And Tyler Hero can go back into scoring mode. Duncan Robinson, the 3-point shooter that they have. And, with Pat Riley being the executive, how much, Pat Riley influenced that Miami Heat team, especially defensively. Like that team looks really good. PJ Tucker, defensive player, but still hit you with the side 3-point shot. So they got a lot of potential to be, a top 5 in the East that can knock out some teams and all that. But the Bucks and the Nets are probably going to be the 2 best ones out the East, but don't really, count on Miami though, the way they look, and Atlanta too, because Atlanta's looking really good. So them 4 teams and my Boston Celtics, we ain't gonna do anything this year. I'll say that for sure. I would say that for sure. The Knicks look so much. I have the Knicks going up, and I hate the Knicks. And I hate the Knicks, so I have the Knicks going up, being a lot better than the Celtics this year. But Miami could make a lot of noise this year, and
I think
hopefully
the Bulls are going to be something too.
I think the Bulls are going to scare some teams, like on any given night. They're going to scare some teams.
The thing with the Bulls, I think the Bulls is going to be better, but I think they'll still be a low seed team and everything. The chemistry. We don't know who's going to be the main option. We want to see LaVine to be the option, but the Ocean's over there too, and he probably want to be the main option. I love Caruso. I love Lonzo Ball. I feel like Lonzo Ball is going to have a big year. In terms of him facilitating and just playing defense and everything. Vucevic. So that chemistry is going to be really tough right there. I love Patrick Williams. I love Kobe White, but it comes down to chemistry. I feel like they're going to be a low seed team. They just need another key piece to get them up there in the top 3 seed, unless Zach LaVine has eye-popping numbers that he be in the MVP discussion that, Chicago is a top 3 team because Zach LaVine step up to the plate and put out eye-popping numbers.
Finally.
Now, I definitely agree with that. If Zach LaVine does raise the game to another level, they can definitely get not only sneak into the playoffs, but secure a playoff spot. Mm-hmm. And Jelani, last question to you. Just speaking of the MVPs real quick, who's a player you think can throw their name into the MVP race that nobody's thinking about right now?
Well, that nobody's thinking about. I don't know if there's anybody that's not thinking about because everybody's healthy. Like I think Kevin Durant's probably going to be the front runner for MVP.
I know that's fresh front runner.
Let's go, Jelani. Let's go.
I don't know if it's not thinking about. I'm thinking about it. I know y'all are thinking.
Right, that's cool. That's cool.
I know everybody else thinking about it, but Trae Young definitely is probably going to be. His name's going to flirt around in that area, especially if he keeps us, like I said before, all the other guys came on. We don't have those problems that we had last year. Coaches being fired, players not healthy. The John Collins, Trae Young beef that never really was beef in the first place, but just stuff like that, he can definitely flirt around like top 3-4. Other than that, not thinking about.
I say James Harden. To be honest,
because
the
only reason, because he's going to take from the others, and I don't know if Kevin. I don't know. Well, I'm not saying he's not going to let that happen, but he's definitely.
I'll just say James Harden because last season before he got injured and he missed a number of games, he was putting up MVP numbers.
Yes.
And especially if Kyrie doesn't end up playing the home games, that's going to be a lot more time for James Harden with the ball in his hands and running the offense.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
And then there's one more name too that it could possibly get an MVP. Paul George. Kawhi being out with the Clippers and everything, Paul George. Everybody forget when Russell Westbrook was out with the Thunder, Paul George was third in MVP voting and everything. So it's kind of tough to see, you know, with the chemistry with Paul George and Kawhi, because Kawhi is going to be the main focal point. But now Kawhi is going to be out for a certain period of time, and this is Paul George. Paul George played great in the playoffs. Everybody forget about the playoff. He finally woke up, and you know, him being the main option for the Clippers, and if he plays really well and getting back to like one of the top two-way players in the game, I think Paul George could possibly put up some really good numbers for the Clippers to get into the top 5 in the Western Conference if Paul George played like he did in the playoffs.
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead, Coach. Real quick. Go ahead.
I said it in the private chat, but dude, first of all, Justin, I love your accent.
Oh, thank you.
I swear. I mean, I've heard it from others before. I'm not sure where you from, but I kind of got a feeling. But dude, I'm just vibing like, yo. Because I heard a lot of folks from the South in the Army days, and I'm just like reminiscing. I'm like, well, y'all too, Fresh Air and John Dove, y'all too. But I'm just saying, you know, in everything, you know what I mean? I'm just like, it's like Kool-Aid, it's water. Now, I'm going to be the biggest homer in the room right now, but I'm a homer for a reason. I honestly think one of the very under the radar MVP candidates is Julius Randle.
That's fair.
Simply because, number one, last year, to me, he should have been on the daggone. I'm not saying he should have been MVP, but he should have been on the list a little bit. Because the Knicks was not expected to be what they were last year, and he was the engine. When your coach calls you the engine, hello, everybody, he's the reason.
For sure.
And if he can put together, you know, a smidge of what he did last year, and we can go a little further than we did last year, I have no idea why he wouldn't be in the. I'm not saying he's going to win it.
But he should be there, though. Yeah,
he could very well be in the conversation.
So, some people here and there kind of had him in the conversation last year, just to say, like, a few people. So that's that right there. Maybe if, like you say, if he kind of replicates what he did last season, this season, and the Knicks move further, I have no doubt that people would say, okay, he put 2 amazing seasons together, and we can be in the combo.
Maybe All-Star this year.
Yeah,
why not?
Why not?
He was NBA All-Second team last year. If he could get to All-First team this year, why not?
Why not? No, that's absolutely true.
Amen.
I'll throw another guy out there who I think could possibly be in the combo. Donovan Mitchell. Possibly.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Utah got to solidify stuff in the playoffs because their regular season is fire.
Yes.
But they always seem to wet the bed in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They definitely got.
So if they can stay strong in the playoffs, I have no issues. Even though I know the playoffs is not a MVP in the category, still, end of the day, that to me, that's the one knock is he can't get them further.
And let me say one thing, guys.
I'm sorry, he is.
Let me say one thing, guys. Back to the question, what am I looking forward to this coming season? What am I excited about? I am excited about the new rule changes. Like, I want to see, I want to see how players adjust. I want to see how the players are going to adjust to the new rules, like, you know, with the trying to draw the fouls and bait certain players into those fouls. Like, I want to see what type of adjustment the players make now, because we saw in a few preseason games already that some players are trying to draw those charging fouls, like, you know, the bumping into somebody's body on a pump fake and whatnot, and the refs are not falling for it. So I want to see what happens. There's a clip of Steph Curry actually coming off a screen, getting the ball on the 3-point line and trying to pump fake somebody. I forgot exactly who he was trying to bait, but he jumped into the player and the ref didn't call it. So gotta see how that plays out.
Yeah, that's a good start. I definitely like saying that, but I think we're gonna end it there before we be here all day talking, because y'all know how people get. But I want to say thanks for everybody coming on. I'm gonna go around the room real quick so y'all can let them know they can find you at. I'm gonna start with one of our unofficial hoopers, Jelani, and let people know they can find you at.
Of course, appreciate you guys as always. Appreciate being on with you too as well, Fa, Edgar, and JP. Of course, you know where you can find me at. It's right there at the tag, WTG MTM Podcast. Me and Thad do a podcast. I think I just posted it today. We talked about everything from Urban Meyer, the Red River Showdown that's going on right now. We talked about the NBA players as well that got arrested yesterday or 2 days ago.
Yes.
Yes. Definitely check that out as well. And then me, the Hoopers, along with Hawks Fan TV and Bryce Lewis, did a Hawks fly through last night as well to preview our team, talk about all things Hawks, and then a little bit of NBA news as well. But you can check that out anywhere you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, all that. I think it should be posted now as well. Oh, and Anchor as well. So yeah, definitely check that out. But appreciate you guys for having me on. Definitely looking forward to this NBA season and having everybody else on our show as well. Coach File, JP, and Edgar.
Oh, I'm coming. You know.
Justin,
my pops will love you because he's a Knicks fan too. So he be telling me to show the Knicks a little bit more love. I'm like, I can't do it, man. But you guys are cool with me, so I might do that for him.
Bless up.
Justin, you want to let people know where they can find you at?
Yes, on my it's just JP. That's my YouTube channel. I just put up a video of the NBA 75th Lane anniversary commercial trailer reaction. That's doing a lot of good views right now. You can catch me doing basketball content. They also can catch me on Off the Ball Network on YouTube doing football recaps. So check them out. Some gonna be coming up this week. Also, I'm doing an NBA 75 tomorrow morning with Kenneth and Jug and anybody else that want to hop on. Just do the next 25 players to have like our own list, and then we're gonna have like an official OTBN list of the 25 players we think should be the next ones that will go up there with the 50 greatest players. So just check us out tomorrow morning around 11 a.m. Eastern time. But other than that, I'm on Twitter, JP Franchise 57, and Facebook, Justin Payton. So check me out.
Thank you.
I want to say shout out to everybody that's doing their top 100 players list. I don't know how y'all coming up with them, but if Dominique is not on y'all next 25, just know y'all gonna be getting a letter from us.
We'll put Alex Caruso on there. So
you want to let people know where they can find you and what you got going on?
So my turn, or
you got a coach.
Well.
That's what he should be like. He should be on the radio. Be on the radio.
All right, so I do two shows, y'all. Y'all want to check out my Knicks content? I'm with my main man Danny B on the Knicks Corner every Saturday. YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, the whole nine, and of course my flagship show, The Candid Corner, for the Off the Ball Network with the family. And that's me and Mr. Lewis every Wednesday night, 9 o'clock. Check us out, www.thecandidcorner.com. Check us out on Twitter. Check us out on Spotify, Anchor, and the whole nine. And y'all, in my headline heat, we eviscerated Urban Meyer. Yes, sir. And next Wednesday, we will definitely be taking on those 18 knuckleheads. And I'm mad because we got big three players in that nonsense. You know what I mean? So I'm going to have to wax Big Baby and them real good. And we also got hip-hop producer Stu Bangers coming by next Wednesday. So make sure y'all check us out. Doing it up nice and good. And thank y'all for the time. Thank y'all for everything in the platform. The hoop is like, it's the truth, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If I'm Uncle Snoop, these the nephews, and it's what it is. It is so much love, man. For real.
No, definitely, man. Appreciate you again, y'all. Appreciate you again. Every in the chat, he the only person I actually like. I address everybody, but if I see y'all in the chat, I gotta say what's up, Unc, to help personally. I gotta do it every time. Like nobody.
Yes, sir.
Coach
yes, sir. That's how we do. That's our thing, man. I love it.
And Edgar, you want to know the same? You know where people find you? What you got going on?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at new_tape_city. That's where I post most of my thoughts and most of my sports stuff, like Giants talk, Chelsea, for any soccer fans out there. You know, I watch a lot of U.S. soccer, women's U.S. soccer, and South American soccer. So if you love soccer, come check out my tweets. And I post, of course, a lot of my Knicks stuff, a lot of my Knicks takes. People seem to be up in flames right now about my tweet regarding my girlfriend taking me out to a friend's dinner tonight. I'm getting so many replies and so many things like do this, do that, or like she belongs to the streets, or like you belong to the streets, and like Twitter is crazy right now. So I'm fully expecting her to come back home in about an hour and looking at my face and seeing like what's going on, like why are people tagging me in this and saying break up with me and all this other stuff. Right?
Yo, I gotta do it. I gotta do it for you though. Nick, Nick City Bockers is your new show, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So Nick City Bockers is the new podcast coming out with Jay. We're in the final phases of putting everything together. We got our intro music, we got our layout, we got guest lineup and whatnot. Just putting some final kinks together, and it'll be all good to go. Hopefully, right before the season starts. And of course, any of you guys are always welcome to hop on. It doesn't matter if you're a Hawks fan or a Celtics fan. It's all love. It's all love as long as like you don't trash the Knicks on my show.
Yeah.
Right. You can become honorary Knicks fans.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Just
And you done all those bomb ass off the ball network tweets with all the updates.
Right.
That's Edgar doing all that.
Right, and of course, you can find all the sports tweets and all the shows and updates about the shows and everything on the Off the Ball Network official Twitter account. It's at OTB_network. And make sure you follow and you turn on the notifications so you never miss any tweets and any updates regarding the shows, the great content that everybody puts out.
No, for sure. Fresh, you want to let them know where they can find us and what we got going on?
Yep, for sure. And before that, appreciate all y'all for coming on to spending time with us for a good amount today. But y'all can find us anywhere podcasts are available: Google, Apple, Pandora, iHeartRadio, all those cool places. Every Monday and Friday, you catch us on the Nothing But Net channel through the Dash Radio app for the Hoopers Hour. We're on at 8 p.m. every Monday and Friday. And every Friday, catch us for the Hoopers Morning Run every Friday morning, 9 a.m. Off the Ball Network's Facebook page, the Hoopers YouTube page, the Hoopers Twitter page. And on Wednesdays, we got a show on the Halftime app where we do the Hoopers Room. So be free, download the Halftime app and come check us out on for the Hoopers Run.
All right, we appreciate it. For our guests, Jelani, JP, Coach Edgar, appreciate y'all for having us on again.
Super friends, we here.
I know, right?
Yeah, thank you guys.
That's this league over here. But now, definitely, appreciate everybody for checking us out. This was our NBA preview show, and like I said, we all catch us in the upcoming week. Everybody got a show coming up sometime this week, so y'all will see us somewhere on the internet. So appreciate y'all again, and I think that's it for today.
I mean, we'll catch y'all.